Welcome to RVing and Seeing with Joanne and Phil. Today's video is about the seriousness of rising Great Lakes water levels and their threat to the future of Ontario provincial parks. The last few years have shown a disturbing trend with lake levels 2 feet or more above the norm, causing major flooding and erosion. Keep in mind we are not experts and are just offering our video evidence of the damage we have seen at the provincial parks we have visited over the last few years. Let's start with Wheatley Provincial Park on Lake Erie, just east of Point Pelee. This is July of 2019, and at first everything looks normal. Wheatley had warned us that the road to the beach was washed out and the beach itself was closed for safety reasons. Here's why. The beach is gone. All that's left is a 10-foot embankment and uprooted tree stumps. The banks are sand, and future erosion is a problem with even a moderate storm. I'm sure these pipes were originally far back from the edge, showing how much it is eroded. At Wheatley Harbor, the water was a few inches from the top of the commercial dock. Conditions at Point Pelee National Park were no better. We were lucky that the boardwalk was not underwater and closed. The next day it was. This is one of the most important bird sanctuaries in North America. It is enjoyed by approximately 350,000 people every year, as well as the 750,000 birds who use this as a rest stop while crossing Lake Erie during migration. Rondeau Provincial Park, September 2016. This is the Lake Erie shoreline on the east side of the Rondeau Peninsula. We have walked this beach for miles. Since then, lake levels and erosion have caused this beach to all but disappear.
We visited Long Point Provincial Park in 2017 and had ideal conditions for camping. Then in 2019, extreme flooding caused it to close until September long weekend. This was the first time since the park originally opened in 1922 that it had to be closed due to flooding. Luckily, no permanent damage was done.
The campground, boat launch, and all roads were completely underwater.
More flooding in 2020 occurred, but luckily it was not as severe.
Not everything is negative. The massive waves push millions of zebra mussel shells onto the rocks at the east end of Rock Point Provincial Park. These have been leveled off, giving the look of a Florida coral beach. It's a very unique sight in Ontario, which I enjoy, but wear proper footwear as the shells have sharp edges. The trade-off is this once beautiful rocky peninsula and its fossils is now underwater. Of course, once the lake levels drop, the bedrock will be exposed again. In 2017, Lake Ontario water levels were already high, and the beach at Perskiel Provincial Park, which is usually dry and sandy, at this time it was a slimy mess and unusable. 2 years later, in 2019, the beach was the width of a picnic table, and the roads within the campground were underwater. In 2019, the campgrounds at Sandbanks Provincial Park survived and stayed above water, but the beaches didn't do so well. Due to the large crowds, park officials shut down day-use access and turned away cars by noon, almost every day, all summer long. Dunes Beach had a very small sandy area, and if you wanted to walk out onto the dunes, the path was under a foot of water. The Marsh Boardwalk was underwater as well.
The Pinery Provincial Park on Lake Huron is showing short-term effects of high lake levels as well. Beach areas are either severely reduced in size or not usable at all. So, many of you may ask, why doesn't the government just repair the damage? Well, some of it is beyond repair. The Ontario Provincial Parks have spent a great deal of money over the years cutting down the ash trees that were killed by the emerald ash borer. The cost involved in making the park COVID compliant this past year has also been a factor. The park board, which is financed by the provincial government, simply does not have the millions of dollars to repair the extensive damage caused by flooding. So, what's the answer? Hopefully, the water levels in the Great Lakes will recede, but we can't depend on that. Climate change, global warming are all real. We never thought too much about the long-term effects 10 years ago. Now our disappearing beaches are an indisputable fact that we've seen firsthand. Hopefully, it's not too late. Increasing our awareness of the issue is one step in the right direction.